If you're someone that's riddled with social anxiety, you're probably a lot like me a few years ago. Too scared to meet new people, watching everyone else's social life from the sidelines, agreeing to go to parties and go to events, but secretly hoping and praying they get cancelled so that you don't have to go. If this is you, well, social confidence might be a lot closer than you think. You see, social confidence isn't about being the loudest in the room, the life of the party, or the person that can talk to anyone and talk to strangers. As someone who's made the switch from social anxiety to social confidence, I have to tell you the truth. And that's social confidence isn't about doing more, it's actually about doing less. It's not about saying yes more and going out more and partying more and matching more and Bumble BFF or whatever app you choose to make friends. Social confidence is about mastering the art of loving your own company so much that other people can't help but enjoy it too. There are so many things I wish I knew when I was an anxious 19-year-old girl, but don't worry because I'm going to share everything with you in this video. Hey, if you're new, I'm Christina and I make videos for people who are feeling lonely. If you're a people pleaser, overachiever, over anything, you're in the right place. Depending on how far along you are in your social anxiety, confidence, social confidence, speaking to new people, meeting new people journey, you might feel like you have a very long list of things to achieve before you're the sort of person that you want to be. You might feel like social confidence is miles away. You have a long way to go. You have to come out of your shell and go to these events and go speed dating and approach people in the middle of the street, say hi to strangers. Like, you might have given yourself such huge tasks and such huge milestones to cross before you feel good enough. But in this video, I wanted to reassure you that overcoming the barrier of social anxiety, letting go of all the different fears and worries that you have and really stepping into who you want to be, it's a lot closer than you think. And as someone who has made that jump, I'm living proof that I promise you there's not a giant hurdle that you need to cross or huge milestones you need to achieve, a long list of things you need to tick off. It's not like that, but we're going to talk about that in this video. First thing I want to really reassure you is that you don't need to go out more. You need to like yourself more. I'm convinced I was the most socially anxious person because when I had social anxiety and I would pluck up the courage to go to an event, I'd go on Eventbrite, find interesting things to me and go to these events where I knew no one and I would go to them and I would be so nervous to go, but I would sit in the corner and be my usual, typical anxious Christina self. Or I'd finally say yes to go to a party that someone had invited me to, but I would, again, sit in the corner or only talk to people that I knew. I'd stand next to the door so I could have a quick escape if I wanted to leave. I was still very much socially anxious, but I was just in different social events. I convinced myself if I go to enough events, then I'll make friends. I just need to go to more events. I'll need to scroll more on Eventbrite, go on Facebook more, find events on Facebook groups, find more events, go out more. That is not how you overcome social anxiety. Because something I didn't think of enough was how much of your social anxiety is just worrying about whether or not people like you. How much of your social anxiety is worrying about whether or not people find you interesting? How much of your social anxiety is worrying whether or not you're cool enough? How much of your social anxiety is just you comparing yourself to other people? How much of it is you just trying to be something that you're not? How much of your stress and nervousness about events is worrying whether or not you'll act the part right and you'll act in alignment with what you should be? Question mark, quotation marks. I want to reassure you that you don't need to go out more and sign yourself up to all these events in 2025 and, new year, new me. You don't have to throw yourself into a new social life. You actually just need to like yourself more. But one of the fundamental things which people often skim over with social anxiety, and you might not realize or even spend much time thinking about, is people are so drawn to other people that are comfortable within themselves. If any social environment, whether or not you're sat on your own, you're talking to someone, or you're trying to plan a lucky escape and just leave because you're so uncomfortable. I did that a million times. People can sense in body language and how you're standing and how you're talking, whether or not you're just comfortable with who you are. So what I'm trying to say in this chapter is that, liking yourself, being comfortable with yourself, you could go to one event in a whole year. You could go to one birthday party for the whole year. That could be your only social event. But if in that party, you're quite comfortable standing on your own in the corner looking awkward, cool, I showed up on my own. I don't know anyone. I look a bit awkward. I'm getting a drink and I don't have anyone to talk to. But I'm comfortable with myself. You'd make a lot more good connections, have funny conversations, interesting conversations, make friends, versus say you go to an event a week a new event every single week, but each one you're just so on edge, and it's visible. People can sense it. People can like smell the nervousness on you, and it's not like a shameful thing to be nervous. Like, it's totally normal and human to feel nervous. But what I'm saying is, don't try to shortcut the process of like, I just need to go to more events. First of all, be comfortable in your own skin. Accept the fact that like, it's okay to be on your own. Like, how much of your social anxiety is just worrying about the fact that you are on your own at the event? So many of these events I'd go to, what I'd be planning was like where I'm going to sit and who I'm going to talk to, so that it doesn't look awkward that I'm by myself. Like, being by myself was the awkward thing. One of the mistakes that we all make when we end up having social anxiety is that we feel like we have to be something we're not. We feel like we're not cool enough as is, or as interesting enough as we are. Like, there's something I'm missing. There's a missing piece to my puzzle. And until I fill that and find the missing piece, that's when I can now go out and make friends and be cool and have people like me. There is no missing piece. I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing you need to start doing. There's nothing you need to start saying. There's nothing you need to start wearing. There's nothing you need to stop hiding. There's nothing that you need to stop telling people. You can be your whole, authentic, natural self, and people will like you for it. That might be a concept that's quite difficult for you to accept. I really struggle. Like, if you would have told me that at 19, like if I watched my own video at 19 and some girl on the internet telling me there's nothing wrong with me, I'm completely okay as I am, people will like me as I am right now. I don't have to hide. I can go to an event on my own and be a loner, and I just need to be comfortable with that. People will be more drawn to me. What? That's weird. Like, I don't even know if I would have taken my own advice. But the one thing I would tell my 19-year-old self is that there's actually nothing wrong with you. And people don't even see anything wrong with you. People only see things wrong with you when you act like things are off and you act like things are wrong. When you do show up on your own and you're nervous and you're looking around and you're kind of scratching your head and you're trying to make yourself small and you're like trying to not take up too much space and you're barely talking in the conversation, and each time someone does ask you about yourself, you're like deflecting and, oh, what about you? And you go first. And things are only wrong when you make them wrong. By default, you are always actually right and you're always actually okay. You're always welcome. You're always accepted by default. But what I want to say is that with time, as you learn to enjoy your own company, you learn to accept being on your own is an okay thing. It's not a disease to show up on your own. It's not an illness to be seen as a loner. It's literally not. That's something you need to disassociate in your mind. It's okay and acceptable to be an introvert. It's okay and acceptable to enjoy your alone time. Once you become comfortable with that in yourself, people will see that comfortableness on you. People will see that confidence on you, and they'll actually be more drawn to you for that reason. Not only will people be more drawn to you, you'll also naturally just feel totally okay going up to other people. But I'm going to get onto that in the rest of this video. You don't need to be heard to be felt. I'm sure we've all felt the pressure to be more chatty and talkative and extroverted and have crazy stories to tell in a social setting in order to be interesting. Half of my battle at 19 was just feeling pressure to talk and feeling pressure to speak up, feeling pressure to say things and to be funny and to match their level of energy. Like, half of it was pressure I was giving myself. Again, like, I just felt like I had to live up to something. I had a picture in my mind of what Christina should be like, and my social anxiety battle was me trying to live up to that image. Rather than me just being like, Christina, this is the image you are now. Like, let's bring it back down to earth. This is who you are. Why not just accept this? I'm a big believer you don't need to be heard to be felt. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be the most memorable. You don't need to be the most seen and the most theatrical, the most like outrageous, like boisterous person to be the most interesting. You also don't need to be the most quiet person to be the most boring. Just because you think quiet and boring, introverted and weird are synonymous doesn't mean that other people see it that way. You can be quiet and have a huge impact with the one thing that you say. Or you can be the introverted person who walks in the room but makes an impact because the way that you're comfortable just showing up on your own. This actually happened at an event I went to last week. I went to this founders startup networking event because I've said in another video, I'm thinking of building an app where I want to build an app for you guys. I want to build an app where like-minded, quiet, introverted, socially awkward people can like talk to each other. And I was thinking like an app where like you answer a question about how your day's going, about how your week's going, and the app matches you to someone who feels the same, and then you guys can like talk. Anyway, I was thinking about building this app. So I went to an event to talk to people, and I was telling them like, oh, hey, what are you, like, who are you? What do you do for work? And I was like, hi, I'm Christina. I'm a doctor and a YouTuber. And they were like, oh my God, whoa, that's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool or whatever. And naturally, because I had this idea of an app I wanted to make, I was like, I need to talk to as many people as possible because I don't know who's going to connect me with someone or who can code. I don't know who can do what. So I need to talk to like everyone. I talked to one guy. I saw him with another guy and I just thought, I've not spoken to him yet. Let me just walk up to him. I was like, hi, sorry to interrupt. I'm Christina, da da da. And when I told them like, oh, I make YouTube videos, they were like, what do you make them about? I was like, oh, I help introverts come out of their shell and be more confident. And I talk about friendships and all this stuff. And he was like, wow, you really demonstrated that today. Like you literally, you did that. You came up to us and you just were confident. And I was like, yeah, you're so right. Anyway, I can't even remember the original point I was trying to make. What was I trying to say? You don't need to be heard to be felt. At that event, there were some very quiet people and there were some more confident people, more loud people. The people that I remember were the people that I had like really good conversations with. And like we bonded over weird, quirky things like Korean TV shows and K-dramas. Like we bonded over like weird, awkward things. So ironically, you trying to force yourself to talk more and speak up more isn't actually the thing that will get you what you want. It's actually you having the confidence to talk about things unique to you, like what unique passion you have or what unique TV show you watch. That's the thing where if you click with someone and you bond over that, they're going to remember you. I think one piece of advice I would give actually, again, like if I think of my old 19-year-old self that really struggled, is sometimes when you're talking to people, you don't realize it, but with social anxiety, you're trying to gain something. Like you're trying to talk to this person, like, oh, I hope they like me, or I hope I like them. I hope we can click and I hope we can have something. You don't realize it, but you do have a goal in mind or like an objective. And that's something I don't do now. I really don't have an aim or objective when I'm talking to people at work or when I'm going to an event. That event was different, I guess, because it's like it was founders and startups. But like even if I went to a party this weekend, I'm not trying to gain anything from the girl I talked to in the bathroom or the guy that says hi to me. I'm not trying to gain anything. Like I'm literally just talking and saying hi and seeing where it goes. I think moving from social anxiety to social confidence, one of the biggest shifts that you will have is that you're a lot more like just going with the flow. Social anxiety tells you to have a good event and show up at this time and speak to this person, speak to 2 people and say this and mention that you do this. Where social confidence says, see how it goes. Go with the flow. Do what you feel. Be comfortable, just show up, feel good about yourself, and it will all work out. And it does. It does all work out. In a similar vein of you don't need to be hurt to be felt, I also believe you don't need to do more. You actually need to do less. Chances are, if you're watching this video, I'm going to predict you're maybe a perfectionist. Maybe you like things to be a certain way and you just like things to go well. You want things to go right. Maybe as well, you're an overachiever. You're used to putting in work and things go well. In work, in school, in college, but in your social life, it doesn't always work out like that. And what I would say about this is that in your social life, to see results and to see improvement, it's not like work and school where you can do more and then you'll get more. It's actually about doing less. Social life isn't about adding, it's about revealing. What I mean by that, it's not about adding more events to your calendar or adding birthday parties to go to, adding Facebook group events to go to. Those were the things that I did. I would go on Facebook, Eventbrite, Meetup, Bumble BFF. I was on these apps trying to find socials of like-minded people to go to. You don't need to add more jokes to your conversations. You don't need to say more things. You don't need to impress people. You don't need to have objectives. I'd say from my experience, it's a lot about peeling back the layers and being more you. And I know you might be like, how do I do that? The way that you be more yourself is that you actually just become a lot more confident on your own. Like how much of your social anxiety is you feeling like you need people around, like you need friends. You just need to look like you have people around, you have friends, you're not a loner. You just need the appearance of what it looks like. Social confidence, I feel like, will come when you're actually just completely okay with how you are right now. You're okay with having one acquaintance. You're okay with having one acquaintance and half of a friend. She's kind of your friend. She's kind of not. She's just there. I'm okay with that. Do you know what? I've been fighting myself for this for years. I'm actually just going to completely accept it now. Once you actually sit there and sit with that, you become more confident. Trust me. In this chapter, when I say you don't need to do more, you need to do less, I want you to take pressure off of yourself to show up to so many different events and so many different clubs, societies, sports, parties. Do you know what? When I actually had like a switch in my social life and I started to actually go out more and see more friends, like genuinely have a bit more of a social life, it wasn't because I was going to more of these things. It was actually because I was getting comfortable within myself. I was just learning to accept myself a little bit more. I wasn't putting pressure on myself to do anything. And the people that I was already seeing in my classes and in my day-to-day week, I was actually just learning to talk to them more. I think you need to go all the way over there to make friends. Actually, if you become more socially confident, the people you already have close by, you could become friends with. If you've watched a couple of these social anxiety videos, because I'm sure you're on maybe a social anxiety binge right now. Maybe this is the third, fourth video, maybe the first one, I don't know. These videos will tell you to go out your comfort zone. Push yourself. There's a difference for me between going out your comfort zone and putting pressure on yourself. I've spoken a lot in this video about putting pressure on yourself. And I've said before, putting pressure on myself was what made my social anxiety so bad. The pressure on myself to speak up more and to do more and be something that I wasn't. Like, vision, like, this is the sort of person that has friends. And I was forcing myself to be that. To me, putting pressure on yourself looks like doing what everyone else is doing to make sure that you don't feel left out. Whereas going out your comfort zone feels like doing what excites you, maybe makes you a little bit nervous, but mostly excites you. You want to do it. You think it's cool. You're excited to go. And you've got like little butterflies because you're nervous. Putting pressure on yourself looks like going to a party you got invited to and forcing yourself to start a conversation with a stranger because you feel like that's what you have to do. Versus going out your comfort zone just looks like going to an event on your own. You're a little bit nervous to show up by yourself, but you're making it your goal to just have a good time on your own. It is really important with social anxiety to go out your comfort zone because you actually do need to prove to yourself you can do hard things. A lot of social anxiety is a doubt in your ability. It's a doubt in your ability to go up to a stranger, or a doubt in your ability to be able to talk to someone new or meet someone new, go to a founder event and walk up to two random guys to talking to each other. Like, you need to prove to yourself you have the ability to talk. However, in that process, I don't think you should be putting huge amounts of pressure on yourself because anxiety loves pressure. It will just double and triple and quadruple in a space where there is pressure. So be mindful of where you're maybe putting pressure on yourself versus going out your comfort zone, which I do think is a good thing. If you enjoyed this video, I have a feeling you're going to enjoy my You're Not Boring, You Just Like Social Skills video, where I was talking about there's a very big difference between being a boring person and being someone who's actually quite interesting, but just doesn't really have the social skills to put themselves out there and show up as their true authentic selves. You might enjoy that one. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.